Lastly, we're going to be getting into the Bethesda conference. The one that I think is the most surprising. Personally, it's weird. I last year made sense, Fallout 4. For them to have another conference this year means that there's something we don't know about, or unless they just feel like they have enough titles now where they can show off a lot of things. So first off, their big heavy hitter, Dishonored 2. I know both of you are excited to see more about this game. I really don't care either way. I didn't really like Dishonored 1, but that could change. What do you guys expect to see for Dishonored 2 or want to see?
Big old trailer, nice little gameplay, maybe a demo or something. A lot.
Yeah.
I expect to see a lot, and I'm pumped.
Oh, yeah.
You think this will be the headliner?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the bigger ones, yeah.
Do you guys think... There's not a release date already, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's November 11th.
Okay. So we already have a release date?
So I think that they're going to really blow this one out of the water. I think it is one of their bigger games. We talked about the awesome voice cast that they're doing on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're definitely getting gameplay. We're definitely getting some cool Dishonored 2 stuff at E3 this year.
So before we get into these speculations or ideas, we're going to get into the two games that currently exist in development that we know about but don't have a release date. Elder Scrolls Legends, the card game that I talked about a while back, the Hearthstone-esque card game, and Battlecry, their MOBA-esque game that's still in development that I don't know if... So before we get out, we'll get into Battlecry first and Elder Scrolls Legends. I don't think Battlecry will ever be a thing just because I think they're going to see how poorly Battleborn did. And so
why was the name so similar?
I forgot about this game, like Battlecry, like what exactly was it? I went and looked up like screen caps and like stuff. It looks very generic, like even more generic than Battleborn. And they might just scrap it altogether. It might not even be a thing anymore.
I think they'll just change it completely. Like they'll kind of take some assets and stuff and just turn it into a new game, kind of like what Overwatch was built from the bones of Titan. Was it? Yeah. So that's kind of. I think they might do that.
I think the problem was a lot of people were trying to hit this MOBA trend and be the first person to do it, and then Blizzard's like, actually, our game is going to be coming to console, and everyone's like, oh shit, Because if you think if Overwatch wasn't on console and Battleborn was there, Battleborn would be doing pretty fine, I think, and then it'd be competing with Battlecry, and that's okay. But the fact that Overwatch came, it's a way more polished product because it's Blizzard,
Holy crap, dude! I just thought about that. Gearbox was probably so pissed when Blizzard announced that they were going to put Overwatch on console.
Yeah.
Because they would have been fine without it.
Yep, exactly. Because the only other competitor is Smite, and Smite's a solid game, but it's completely different. It's a MOBA.
Oh,
yeah. So I think they were just trying to chase that MOBA high, and they got left behind. Elder Scrolls Legends, do you guys think this will get a release date? Do you think they'll do the Fallout Shelter thing where it's available now to download?
That would be cool, especially if it was on iOS.
Yeah.
I'd be really into that. I'd drop $5 or $10 for it.
It's a really fun game. They could also do the free-to-play macrotransaction method that they did with Fallout Shelter and a lot of card games do.
That's probably more likely, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that'll be their mobile game of the show? Because they did Fallout Shelter last year.
Yeah,
possibly.
Even though I liked Fallout Shelter, and this looks interesting enough to me, and I'd probably grab it.
This is actually a game from what I've played. Fallout Shelter was a game, but it was very mobile game-y. This seems like it's an actual game that could be on mobile, like Hearthstone. Hearthstone's an actual game that's also on mobile, So
I don't like the idea that they're going to be continually releasing mobile games. You know what I mean? I don't want the industry to go in that direction.
But you have to. I understand it not being their mainstay, but they're a company and they understand where business opportunities are, and mobile games sell, especially branded IP that have franchises behind them. Like I agree with you that I hope it's not the mainstay, but I do understand from a business perspective why they do it, So
Jared, did you say that Elder Scrolls Legends is in alpha right now?
Yeah, I'm in the alpha test.
So as opposed to getting a release date, I think we're just going to hear them introduce a beta.
Yeah, open beta probably, because this is a closed alpha. It could be sign up now at elderscrollslegends.com, right? That'll be the thing to sign up for the show. Next up on the list, so that was all the stuff that we know are games that exist, but we don't have release dates for anything. Now comes the speculation. Fallout 4 DLC. We were talking about this. Far Harbor is the first. I would explain it as the first major substantial piece of DLC for Fallout. Would you agree, Dom? Like something that's actually major. I think that it makes sense for them to have more DLC for this game, considering every Fallout they've made, or at least Fallout 3 and Vegas, had 3 or 4 substantial. Vegas had 3, and what did 3 have? Like 5? like substantial pieces of DLC.
Yeah, quite a few.
So I would assume they're going to announce something, right? Some kind of reveal.
Yeah, and especially after they increased the price of that season pass
Yeah.
this year. So they definitely have at least one more big piece of DLC, and then probably two more, or one or two more, smaller things.
Yeah. What do you think, Jordan? You think we'll see Fallout 4 DLC?
So we were discussing this before the show. I was under the impression that Far Harbor was the last piece of DLC for Fallout 4. So I guess I could be wrong there, but even still, I'm not so sure that they're going to support this game nearly as much as they did with 3, just because I don't think it's nearly as popular. I mean, it may have sold more copies, but I don't think...
Yeah, I think it sold like 5 times as many copies.
Yeah, but I still think that people, think about how long people talked about Fallout 4, or Fallout 3 for. People still talk about Fallout 3 as if it just came out, and I think that the tail was very short on Fallout 4, where people aren't really talking about that game, even with the Far Harbor DLC.
An interesting idea to that too, Jordan, is that, Fallout 4 was more Fallout 3, and I think people assume that they're going to take a break and kind of make an actual new Fallout game, right? Like, feels like a new Fallout game. And what better way to still supply gamers to own your current game and work on a new game than having mods on consoles, which they're going to have. They're going to have the Fallout mods. So
it already happened on Xbox.
Yeah, so they're going to have people having new content that they can opt into to get on Fallout 4, and Bethesda doesn't have to worry about actually making it. So it can give some longevity to the game while they start to work on Elder Scrolls and the next Fallout. So
do we think that we'll ever see those mods come over to PS4?
I think they are going to. It's a timed thing. Xbox only has it for a certain amount of time. It's kind of like the Rise of Tomb Raider thing.
Yeah.
And it was weird because the way they had it last year at E3 when they first announced this was a Microsoft exclusive thing, but they never said exclusive. It was just like coming first to Xbox. So, next up, MachineGames. They had Wolfenstein, New Order, and then the substantial DLC Old Blood. Will we see Wolfenstein 2, whatever they plan to call it? Do you think we'll see their new game, MachineGames' new game?
It's a good question.
Will it even be Wolfenstein? Will they do their take on Quake?
I think they'll go a different route. Quake maybe, yeah.
See, for me, I think Wolfenstein was successful enough that it'll get a sequel, and I think that probably is what MachineGames is currently working on.
Do you think we'll see it though? They're working on it, but do you think we'll see anything about it?
See that? Yeah, I do, because one of the questions I was going to ask you guys is, do you think that, this is 2 years in a row with a Bethesda press conference. Is this going to be a regular thing now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I guess that just means that they're confident enough in their studio lineup that they're going to have enough games. Otherwise, I mean, you kind of almost have to have MachineGames or Tango Gameworks coming out and saying something.
Plus, it also tells me that maybe they've reached out and have other studios making games for them, right? I mean,
true.
They could have
expanded.
They
are a publisher.
Exactly. There could be things we don't know about yet, like some publisher we don't even, or a studio rather.
To both of your points, you mentioned Tango Gameworks. We could possibly see Evil Within 2.
Yep.
That game took the horror genre, which is severely underlacking as far as true horror games, and brought it back, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll obviously talk about obviously Resident Evil and stuff, trying to do that next week. Going to your point of studios that they don't necessarily own making games, I was looking through their history, and in 2011 they had 2 games that they actually published that they don't own the studios. In Exile made Haunted the Demon Forge, and Splash Damage made Brink. So we could see a Bethesda published game that's not a studio they own. So you were talking about them having a game we don't know about, or a studio they don't own making a game. So that's completely 100% plausible. So it's weird though, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot on here that we know about to warrant a whole conference. So it has to be a Machines game or a Tango Gameworks, there has to be more here, right? There has to be. Bethesda Game Studios working on something. There has to be something there, right?
I could also see, this might be a stretch, but maybe a huge expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, maybe?
I don't think that game warrants
might not be worth it to them.
Yeah.
They did have that last year. They had an expansion last year for Elder Scrolls.
Okay,
Online.
So it was as soon as last year. Then I think they might.
But they
do
also went
else.
free to play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that game's definitely not as successful as they wanted it to be after the, people freaking out about Skyrim.
That's where I go both ways on it, because they wanted so much more out of it, and so they could either say, well, we already spent so much and put so much into this, we need to keep it going for at least something, get as much as we can out of it, or just give up and be done with it.
They screwed that game up. It took them too long after Skyrim to where the hype had kind of already died down, and the fact that it took so long to get it on console.
That was a big problem, yeah.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that game. They messed that one up.
I would rather see Elder Scrolls, the title of the new game, than literally anything of online. I do not want to see anything with ESO at all.
I don't think you're going to get that, though. I think it's going to be a while before you see anything Elder Scrolls.
In like 2 years, maybe.
Mainline.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Controlled Interest Gamecast. If you want to stay up to date, remember to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a follow on SoundCloud and on Twitter at CTRLINT. #SmashTheDunst.